Hi there, it's Harrigan from Conjointly. Thank you for taking the time to come to our demonstration today. Today we're going to be giving a brief introduction into Conjointly, the different tools and research methods that we offer, as well as how to easily integrate Conjointly with Fuel Cycle so that you can easily launch surveys directly to your Fuel Cycle community members for quick results. As a bit of background about ourselves, Conjointly is a Sydney-based market research provider. However, we do have employees based all around the world. We specialize in a variety of market research methods for both product and pricing, including conjoint analysis, claims testing, concept testing, and others. These tools are offered both through automated means as well as through full-service custom projects. For our example here today, we're going to be looking at launching a generic conjoint experiment directly off your Fuel Cycle Core dashboard. Loading up the dashboard, you'll end up seeing a screen somewhat like this. Here we're just using a Conjointly test account, which is why there's not too much activity on it. On the left-hand side, we can go down here to Surveys and select this button. Over here, we can see the different survey providers that we have. So we can go through and launch Conjointly using this option over here. Launch Conjointly automatically logs you into your Fuel Cycle Conjointly account. When you first log in, you see a large variety of different experiments that we have on offer. Up here, we have our first two generic conjoint experiments, discrete tests to help you select which combination of attributes finds the ideal product. We also have the claims test and product variant selector for narrowing down from a large list of claims or products to see the highest performing ones. Down here we have our two pricing tests, the Gabby Granger and the Vet Van Wessendorp, both extremely useful in finding the ideal price or price range for your product, as well as supporting the outputs of a conjoint analysis. We have a brand price trade-off experiment, which is perfect for testing the price of existing goods as well as the price of an NPD to find how to get the most optimal launch for your product. We have MaxDiff, which again allows for a robust ranking of products and different variants, as well as our free survey tool, which is available to everyone for free, which is it's easy way to launch a general survey to gather information, including demographic information from your respondents. For this example, we're going to go through into the generic conjoint to see how to set one up, as well as the example flow. So I'm going to go through and select the Start Now button over here. Here we see the simple interface that you see when you first decide to set up a conjoint experiment. At the top, we have the general settings. Here we can put in the general product type that you're looking to test. In this example, we're going to be testing cars to see which different attributes and prices of cars consumers most prefer. The next option here is the type of product that we have. You see that there's three different options. There's normal products, products that customers are forced to purchase, and products that they are not necessarily used to purchasing. The difference between these is how the none of the above options is displayed to consumers. For normal products, there's a normal none of the above option, as consumers don't necessarily have to purchase it. Products that consumers are forced to get, like medication, there is no none of the above, as one of the options has to be selected, obviously. And finally, we have the new product the customers are not used to buying. This uses a two-stage response. First, to ask respondents which is their preferred one, then to confirm that they would actually purchase it as an innovative product. Sometimes may not be something that respondents necessarily would purchase in real situations. Down here we have the different attributes and levels. This doesn't need to be entirely exhaustive of the product. However, it needs to be the attributes that are most important to consumers. So when we're looking at cars, we have engine capacity, the size of the car, as well as the price. For each of these, we have multiple different options. We just put in 3 different attributes, each with 3 levels for brevity. However, we are able to support a much larger array of both attributes and levels. On the right-hand side, you are also able to go through and select the Format Level Text option. This allows you to add different formatting options to the levels. So for example, when you select this, you're able to go through and apply all normal text formatting that you would expect, as well as go through and add in images or videos. You are also able to directly upload HTML if you have got something already perfectly formatted and ready to display. And down here with the price, we see that there are 3 different price levels specified. We do have 2 different boxes here. On the left-hand side, we have the price that is shown to respondents. On the right-hand side, we have the price that is used in the back end for calculations such as revenue and profit. The difference between these 2 is that you are able to change this one, different formatting, as well as show things like was $20,000, buy now for a discount, as well as if you're showing different pricing options. For example, for a car, you could have $20,000 as one price, as well as you could have $200 over X amount of weeks. In the next tab up here, we've got the different templates that you can set. These templates show the different ways that the experiment can be presented, depending on the product you're trying to show. We do have options that allow you to change essentially all the text that is shown to respondents, including the hints for all the additional questions, as well as the conjoint text. Under advanced settings, this shows that you are able to change nearly everything about the experimental design. You are able to display the different order of alternatives, how many are shown to respondents, the number that should be shown in each choice set to respondents. We won't be getting into it now, but it is extremely exhaustive in how well you are able to customize your experiment on Conjointly. And finally, we have additional questions over here. So in these additional questions, you are able to ask further questions to give an insight into your product and how respondents view it, as well as just generally asking things such as demographic questions to allow for segmentation. This will allow you to easily see the differences between your groups, to see, for example, if one gender has different purchasing preferences compared to another, as well as age groups, income levels, etc. Looking at the different types of questions that we can launch, you can see there is a very large list, multiple choice, short text, and number being extremely common, as well as, of course, other ones such as paragraph input for big open-ended response, Likert scales for easy ranking, as well as star rating grid to see how you can rank several different options beside each other. You will also see that the 2 different pricing methodologies that I referenced earlier are listed down here. Those are the Gabor-Granger test and Van Westendorp test. You are able to slot these pricing tests into any other survey, which does come especially in handy as they are very useful in confirming the pricing levels and ranges that are found to be optimal by the conjoint experiment. We also have different blocks available for setting up different flow of the additional questions. Now that we've gone through here, we're going to go and preview the experiment to see what it will look like from a respondent's point of view. If you do that from this bottom corner down here. Awesome. Now, the first thing that respondents are going to see is the opening message, again, fully customizable through the additional questions. Often when surveying respondents about products, it's useful to put in more contextual information. For example, you can put in photos or videos or just a long textual introduction, just to give respondents a bit of context about what you're asking them about, to make sure that their responses are as relevant and as informed as possible. Here we see this is the first one of the choice sets. So respondents are prompted which of the following cars would they choose. They've got the different sizes, so large, medium and small, got the different engine capacities as well as the different prices. As we go through, our respondents are allowed to select the combination that best suits them. And as you'll see in each choice set, the alternatives shown do differ. You'll also notice that because this is a generic conjoint, all different attributes are able to be shown with all different sizes, with all other attributes rather. So if we look here, we've got large is easily displayed with the lowest price, while small is shown with one of the larger engines. If you are setting up an experiment where you wish to restrict different attributes to specific products, we do have that as well through the brand specific conjoint. Returning back to our experiments tab, we can go through and now that we have the experiment ready to launch, we can go through and rename our experiment. I'll call it example experiment. I'll call it the example experiment first. Then go into the bottom corner and select save and send to fuel cycle. Selecting this button, it's going to automatically launch the survey and send it out to your fuel cycle members, ready to start gathering responses. It's as simple as that, launching on fuel cycle. I'll take a moment, and we see that our conjoint experiment has been successfully imported. Now that we close this window, over here, we're going to be taken back over to the fuel cycle surveys. Quickly just going to refresh the page over here. Now that we can see our example experiment is listed at the top, and there's automatic access direct to the conjoint report. You can also see how many views and responses your report has already collected. Now that we've done this, we're going to go through and have a look at an example experiment to see example outputs that you can expect from a generic conjoint style experiment. Going back to Conjointly, we can go and navigate over to the My Experiments tab. Under here, you see every experiment that you have created, such as the little example experiment we just built. You also see that there are 8 example experiments preloaded onto each of your accounts. These are different examples of different tools that we have. So you can easily see the experimental flow as well as the output that you're given. So quickly looking through here, you see they've got ones for brand specific, price trade-offs, pricing tests. We've got a max diff, product variant selector claims test, a second brand specific, and under example experiment 1, we have an example report for a generic conjoint. Just going to click on here so we can view the report. As a bit of context for this experiment, this is a generic conjoint based on different mobile phone plans. To find the optimal combination of attributes for respondents to purchase different monthly phone plans. Here we see the relative importance by attribute. This shows respondents' preferences for each of the attributes broken over the different types of attributes shown. Let's move my camera out of the way quickly. Perfect. So down here, we see that we've got price, data included, international minutes, and SMS. From the respondents that we gathered, we see that data included is the most important attribute, followed by price, and then finally we have SMS and international minutes. Up here in the top corner, we can also select show confidence intervals. This shows the confidence interval within 90% certainty. So as we can see, we don't have any overlapping confidence intervals, so we have a clear winner in the rankings, with data included being the most important. We can then click down to the relative value by level. This breaks down each of those attributes and then shows the relative preference that respondents have for the different levels included. Looking in price, we see that it makes sense. Respondents have a higher preference for the most affordable option, pretty standard for the middle option, and then the lowest for the bottom option. For data, a similar thing. We see that respondents have a clear preference for unlimited data, and as data reduces, we see that the preference falls. For international minutes and SMS included, again, we saw that there was a lower overall importance, so that the relative value is less. So while respondents do prefer having the optimal plan of 300 minutes, reducing it down to 0 only has a relatively small reduction in preference for respondents. And it's again similar with text messages. Over in the next tab, we see the marginal willingness to pay. For each of the non-price levels and attributes rather, we see how much respondents are willing to pay for each of the levels included. So if we look over here at unlimited, we see that respondents are willing to pay $51 per month for an unlimited mobile phone plan, compared to the baseline of 500 megabytes. You are able to go through and change the baseline by selecting it. So here we're just going to select the 1 gigabyte and we'll see how the baseline updates, which will result in the 500 megabytes having a negative marginal willingness to pay. Yeah, just like this. Looking over at international minutes, again, we can see that for 300 minutes international, respondents are looking to pay $3.30 a month. Again, not a huge amount, while unlimited text is $14. In the next tab, we see the ranked list of product concepts. This shows how respondents rank the different options to see the optimal plan. At the top, it's obvious. We see that we've got the cheapest price with the best option. So we've got the unlimited data, the maximum international minutes, and the unlimited tests. This ranked list isn't necessarily saying, hey, this is the optimal combination that you should be using. What instead it does is that it allows you to look at the different combinations that you're considering, and then you'll be able to see how they fall and what different attributes can be adjusted to improve respondent preference. Finally, we have the goodness of fit. For this, we use the McFadden-Suter R-squared model. We've got the different ranges shown over here. So we've got the strong fit, which is over 65%, meaning that the majority of the variation in data collected is explained by our model. Next, we can move over to the simulations tab. Simulations are very valuable as it allows you to have different product concepts to see how they perform against one another. You're able to set up competitor concepts here as well, which can be extremely useful. So for the current product, we're just going to say that there is the two different options. We're going to have the lower priced plan, which we're going to put on the minimal options. And then we're going to have a higher price plan sitting on some slightly higher options. We go through and create the worksheets over here. And this just gives you an example of how powerful the online simulator is. Perfect. So we see in the baseline, if we launch just these two if we have just these two product concepts, we can see, I'll move my camera once again. We can see that we have a pretty clear winner. So the higher priced product concept ends up picking up 40% of the overall market share, while the lower priced option ends up picking only 17%. We can also see how this turns into revenue projections for us, assuming that we own both of these plans and are the only ones in the market. We see the breakdown in revenue over here. This formula is adjustable. You are able to go through and adjust the calculations to easily calculate things such as volume, revenue, and profits or gross margin. Looking at the different simulations, we automatically build the sensitivity to price simulations. So if we look at best performing product concepts, this is the more expensive one. You see that if we have the price over at $30, we have a very high preference share of 66% of the market. But as we increase the price down to all the way up to $70 a month, we can see a rapid fall in preference share, falling to 16%. This shows us that there is an elastic demand here, meaning that as we increase the price of this plan, we see a more than proportional drop in demand. This means that we should be careful when pricing this kind of product, as increasing the price too much may actually end up having a negative impact on our revenue. We can see that over here, as we increase the price for this particular product, we see that the overall revenue coming from the first product plan doesn't really change, yet as you increase it over to $70, it drops all the way down. You are able to create many different simulations. This is just an example of how to do it. The classic will be going through and setting up all of your competitors to see the different product plans that you launch and how they're going to compete with the competitors, which of your competitors will market share be taken from, and will any cannibalization exist within your pre-existing products. The final important tab that we have is segmentation. This allows you to easily go through and select different segments to set up for your report. This can be extremely useful in viewing things such as results broken down by different demographics, different genders, income levels, different regions. Can be very important in knowing how you should specifically be marketing or pricing your products towards different aspects and different segments of the community. Okay, I'll just quickly move my camera back up to the top corner. So that is essentially it for this demonstration. We've gone through an example of setting up a generic conjoint using fuel cycle communities on Conjointly and the different outputs that you can expect from it. So now that we've gone through this demonstration, what are the next steps to get started on Conjointly? The first step is to go through and create a Conjointly account. You're able to create a Conjointly account for free. Well, you might not be able to launch full link surveys. You are able to have access to all of our methodologies with a cap on the amount of respondents that you are able to collect from. If you set up a Conjointly account, you will be able to go through and look at those 8 example experiments to see the survey flow, the outputs you can expect, as well as just general inspiration for how to use the platform. If you go to Conjointly, go to the homepage here, you are able to start now to create a new account. You are also more than welcome, as always, to schedule a call with one of our team members to allow you to jump on and discuss any potential surveys you might be looking at doing, the context of your business, and get the input from our team members for the correct type of experiment that you should be looking for, and how you can best utilize our platform to perform this. If you want quick feedback from our team, you can just jump on the website and select the chat with us button. And if anyone's online at the time, we're more than happy to go through and answer any quick questions you've got. And finally, we also have extensive guides available on our website that give you more insight into the platform, as well as different theoretical points related to Conjointly, discrete choice experimentation, and so on. So after all of that, that's going to be it from me today. Thank you for joining our demonstration today. If you'd like to get in contact with me, feel free to drop me an email at support@conjointly.com. And a big thank you to Fuel Cycle for giving us the opportunity to showcase our platform like this. Have a good day.